Hey guys, today we're making an apple and brie sandwich on some homemade bread. Let's get started on this thing. Now the first thing we're going to do is make the bread, and for this bread you're going to want to use a starter. Now this starter here is about 3 days old, but your starter can last up to 2 months if you're not feeding it. But even though this is only a couple of days old, it still packs a lot of flavor. But the longer you let it sit, the more flavor it's going to have. As you can see, I'm using my KitchenAid here, but you can do it by hand if you'd like. I'm using bread dough, some salt, I'm adding all of my starter, and some lukewarm water. Now this bread recipe was not something I really planned out, I was kind of winging it, and I had to add a little bit more water because my dough was kind of on the dry side. But don't worry, I got the full recipe below so that you don't make the same mistake that I made. Now once you have a nice smooth dough, turn off your machine, or, stop doing it by hand. You're going to cover it and let it sit for about an hour. I didn't add any oil to this dough at all, I don't want any oil in this dough. I'm doing it completely dry on a lightly floured surface and very, very light. You don't want there to be too much flour, otherwise you're going to have a very dry dough and you do not want that. And I'm just going to shape it into a ball here. And the reason why I'm doing this is so that it's easier to cut in half and that I have even-sized pieces. You can use a scale for this if you'd like. I really should have used a scale because these didn't all come out even. But hey, nobody's perfect, right? You should be able to get 4 pieces out of this. That's 4 rolls, so if you want to double up on the recipe so you can feed more people, go for it. And while I'm doing this, you can see that I'm not adding too much flour. I'm keeping the middle of the dough thick, and I'm thinning out the ends. You kind of want to go for a football shape, if that makes sense. It's a lot easier for you to watch me do it than it is for me to explain it. I put these onto a baking sheet lined with parchment, and I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of flour on top to make sure that the damp towel that I'm putting over it doesn't stick. And this is going to rise for an hour. And after an hour, they should puff up like this. I'm just going to take a squirt bottle and spritz some water on here, and then you're going to take a very sharp knife and score the middle of the bread. Not only does it make it look pretty, but it's a lot better for the baking process. And this is going to go in a 400-degree oven for 25 to 30 minutes. Make sure you spray it every once in a while to create some steam, and also make sure that you rotate it at least once or twice during the baking process. I'd say do this maybe every 10 minutes. Altogether, mine baked for exactly 27 minutes, and as you can see, they're nice and golden brown. They came out nice and crispy on the outside and chewy on the inside. And also, a good tip before you make your sandwiches, go ahead and cut these in half and toast them for a couple of minutes. That's exactly what I did, and now it's time to assemble our sandwiches. I'm just going to take some sliced apple here. You can use any type of apples you'd like. I'm using Pink Lady apples, that's a personal favorite of mine, and now I'm going to top this with my Brie cheese. And this next part is probably going to be a little weird and kind of controversial. I'm going to top this with some Dijon mustard, and you're probably thinking, wow, that's disgusting, and I'm unsubscribing from your channel. Please don't do that. Please stay with me here. Trust me, this is very, very good. I thought it was a very strange combo as well. I did not make this up. I actually used to try this when I went to Epcot at Disney. I live in Florida. I don't live that far from Disney. And there's a bakery over in the France Pavilion that used to have a sandwich like this. Whether or not they still have it, I'm not sure. But they used to top it with Dijon mustard. I thought it was the strangest thing. And then I tried it, and I was like, apples and mustard. Who would have thunk? Now, I'm obviously not recommending you dipping your apples in mustard. I think because of the brie and the bread, it all comes together very, very well. So try this one out, guys. I think you'll be very pleasantly surprised. Alright, guys. I hope you all enjoyed this one. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I will see you all next time.